Strawberry Frappuccinos and a Black Leather Jacket, Chapter 8, Breakfast and a Date. Written and narrated by Eleanor Rose. Art provided by Marlene Bruce. Marinette was already up and showered by the time Alya awoke. She found herself regretting the decision to sleep under the skylight as streams of light attacked her eyelids. Even the sun wanted her to get up and start her day. Groaning, she sat up and stretched out her sleep-deprived body. She hadn't rested well. Not with Marinette's meltdown in the back of her mind. Alya grabbed her phone and rolled out of bed to go downstairs for breakfast. A sting went through her as she opened the fridge door and saw that it had been wiped out and the coffee cup was gone. "Good morning, Alya," Marinette said, taking off her apron. She usually got up around 5 each morning to help out in the bakery and, as hinted by the flower on her cheek, already did her part for the day. "Good morning, Marinette." Alya gave her a small smile. There wasn't any Thai food left over for breakfast, so she walked over to the cupboards to see what the Dupang Chang family had. "Hey, Alya," Marinette said, noticing her friends search for food. "Why don't we go out for breakfast?" Alya turned around to look at her and raised her eyebrow. "Are you sure? Aren't you saving up for a new—" "Yeah, don't worry about it," she cut in. "With all of the discounts and free drinks Adrien's been giving me, I have some extra cash. That, and he overpaid me when he needed the whipped cream." "Okay, where to?" "I was thinking about his cafe. Adrien says the brioche is to die for." "Marinette," Alya began, "do you think that's a good idea?" She shot her a sad smile. "He closed last night, didn't he? There's no way he would open this morning." "Yeah, of course not." Alya pulled out her phone to text Nino. "Hey, Marinette and I are going to the cafe for breakfast. Are you working right now?" Alya ran back upstairs to grab her purse off of Marinette's desk. Feeling the buzz in her back pocket, she reached behind her and pulled out her phone. It was Nino. "Is this the glasses chick from yesterday?" Whoops, Alya forgot to introduce herself. "Yup, my name's Alya, owner of the Lady Blog. Don't you forget it." She ran downstairs after texting Nino. The cafe was, quite literally, half a block away, so she figured by the time he responded, they would already be there, so there was no reason to stand around waiting. "Ready to go?" Marinette asked. "You know it, girl," Alya grinned, adding what was perhaps just a touch more enthusiasm to the sentence than needed. They walked out through the bakery, waving to Marinette's parents as they passed through. Looking both ways, the girls crossed the street and walked up to the cafe door. Alya reached for the handle and hesitated. "Are you sure you're okay with this, Marinette?" Alya asked. "And don't you worry about—" "Marinette," Alya sighed, looking her best friend in the eye. "I don't know," Marinette whispered. Alya let go of the door handle and embraced her, as though the tighter she hugged, the more she could protect her. "Alya," she giggled, "you're squeezing me too tight." "All right, girl, let's go in. I'm famished." Alya held the door open for Marinette to pass through ahead of her. "Adrien!" Marinette exclaimed as she walked into the cafe. Alya froze and looked to the counter and, sure enough, Adrien was behind it, brewing something for an older gentleman. "Here's your tea, Mr. Fu," He poured a green liquid into a to-go cup for the man leaning on his cane and handed it to him. He looked up at Marinette's call and waved to her and Alya. "Hey guys!" he grinned, happy to see them. Alya smiled at Adrien before glancing at Marinette to see if she was okay. Noticing the look, Marinette rolled her eyes and mouthed, "I'm okay," to her best friend. "What's that?" Adrien asked, cupping his hand to his ear. "I couldn't hear you." "One frappe," Marinette said, turning away to pick a table. In her haste, she almost ran into the man who ordered tea who was on the way out. "I'm sorry, sir," she apologized, flustered that Adrien saw her almost barrel over an old man. The gentleman smiled at her as he motioned her towards him and cupped his hand around his mouth, like he was telling her a secret. Marinette turned pink as he spoke quietly to her, refusing to make eye contact with Alya's puzzled gaze. Chuckling to himself, the old man turned back to wink at Adrien and left. "What was that about?" Alya asked, crossing her arms. "Oh, nothing." Marinette put her purse down on the closest table, obviously a bit flustered. "Uh-huh. Right. Sup, dudes?" The girls heard a rather loud voice boom from behind them. "Nino, do you work today?" Adrien asked, a bit puzzled. "I didn't see you on the schedule." "Nah, dude. I was going to hit up the bakery on the corner for breakfast, and I saw these lovely ladies through the window, so why pass up an opportunity, you know?" "I see." Adrien nodded his head in contemplation, glancing over to Alya to send her a smirk. She groaned internally as Nino sat down with them. It was obvious that Adrien misunderstood the situation. "So," Nino grinned, "what are you two chicks having for breakfast?" Alya had to bite the inside of her cheek so she wouldn't roll her eyes at him. She debated pulling out a sarcastic line or two, but thankfully Marinette picked up a conversation with him before she decided on what to say. "Got it." Alya snapped back to reality when Nino stood up and walked behind the counter. He was probably a nice guy and all, but she still tuned him out. She looked at Marinette to see how she was reacting to Adrien in the room, but it seemed like she was okay. A small smile sat on Marinette's lips, and she pulled out her phone instead of starting up a conversation. "No way!" Alya gasped, capturing the boy's attention. She was louder than intended, and was sure Marinette would get embarrassed by it. To her surprise, she giggled and continued flicking through her phone. "What's wrong, Alya?" Marinette asked. "You?" She cleared her throat. "You're using Twitter!" Marinette pressed the power button and the screen turned black. "Yes, I am." "You said you didn't have one." "A year ago, yes, but now I do." "What is it?" Alya asked, whipping out her phone. Marinette rolled her eyes. "Add spots of flour." "Oh, girl, that is so like you." Alya laughed before suddenly deflating. "Girl, there's like nothing on here." Marinette laughed. "I never said I used it regularly." Alya rolled her eyes and flipped through what little content there was. A picture of Marinette's sketchbook, some flowers, the café. "Marinette?" She stifled a laugh. "Isn't this more of a photo blog than a Twitter? What's the point of having a great smartphone camera if I don't get to use it? Besides, Alya, you're the one who uses her Twitter to promote a blog." Yeah, but I make money off it. Alya rolled her eyes. Should we order? She began to stand up when Marinette grabbed her by the arm to pull her back to the table. It's already been handled. Marinette winked, pointing to Nino taking a tray of food out of Adrien's hands. Oh. Alya blinked in surprise. When did... Don't worry about it. You were off in La La Land. All right. I have an order for 2 awesome chicks and their new bro friend, Nino exclaimed, setting down the tray. Alya heard Adrien stifle a laugh at Nino's choice of words from behind the counter. A brioche for this little lady, Nino said, handing Marinette a plate of bread and a peach iced tea, and some pancakes for this one. He placed some steaming hot pancakes in front of Alya and handed her a bottle of syrup. Enjoy it, ladies, Nino said, making finger guns as he went to grab his own food. Thanks, Nino, Marinette waved. She turned to Alya and made motions to start eating as Alya, finally, let out a groan. Marinette, Alya began. Alya, if you can't say anything nice, don't say anything at all. He seems nice, Alya sighed, cutting into one of her pancakes. That's good, because, Marinette mumbled, chewing on her breakfast, he's coming back to eat with us. Alya put her head in her hands and hoped Adrien hadn't said anything to Nino. He seemed dense, but she didn't want to risk it. Starting without me? Ouch! The girls looked up to see Nino pulling out a chair, a chocolate chip scone in his hand. Dessert for breakfast? Alya teased. Dude! Nino laughed at the irony in front of him. You're literally eating cake for breakfast. Cake. Made in a pan. Pan cake. Touché. Perhaps, if she could perchance get past the American slang, he was all right. So what are your plans for the day? Marinette asked Nino. I don't know, he said, biting into his scone. I might hang out with Adrien later. Apparently, he needs some help putting together a surprise for his girlfriend. Really? Marinette smiled, unfazed. What kind of surprise? I don't know. I only found out about it a few minutes ago. He seems unusually uptight, even for him. Oh? I mean... Nino sighed. I don't spend enough time with Chloe individually to know her as a person, but I've never seen him happier when he's with her. Well, Marinette said, glancing at Adrien behind the counter, I don't think Adrien has bad taste in women. What makes you say that? Alya cut in, interested in what Marinette had to say. He befriended us, after all. Both Nino and Alya laughed at her comment. She was right, but it was unlike Marinette to say something so bold about herself. So, are either of you ladies in a relationship? Nope, Marinette smiled. Both of us are single. Really? Nino's eyes widened. Both of you? Wow. Wow what? Alya raised an eyebrow. I mean... Nino coughed. I know it's cliche and all, but both of you are just so pretty that I just didn't expect... Well, you know. For us to be single? Marinette cut in. Yeah, I guess. Just Ask one of them already, Adrien called out from behind the counter. So, Nino stuttered in embarrassment. What's going on? You looking for a girlfriend? Alya teased. His ears turned pink, matching his face. Not exactly, he mumbled. Oh, really? Just looking for a cheap date? Alya smirked. Alya! Marinette scolded. Yeah. Nino met Alya's stare, holding it until she coughed. A cough to break the stare? Really? Good going, Alya. And I was wondering if Marinette would go with me to the Jagged Stone concert. Marinette choked on her drink as Alya's recoil in surprise knocked the empty tray off the table. The few customers in the cafe turned to look at her as it clattered on the floor, as though it was trying to help Alya have the most awkward breakfast ever. Adrien's laugh cut through a moment later, and Nino joined in while Marinette stifled a giggle. It was Alya's turn to blush as she picked the tray up off the floor and dusted it off, lecturing herself internally for making a scene. She didn't question why Nino wanted to take her on a date. She was sweet, soft-spoken, and overall a charming girl, but Alya couldn't see the two of them together as a couple. Granted, she didn't know Nino very well. Oh, Alya coughed, grabbing Marinette's drink to distract from her embarrassment. What? Nino teased, a shade of curiosity in his voice. You don't think we'd make a good couple? He placed his hand on Marinette's in mock flirtation. Alya choked on the iced tea, spewing onto her shirt and her pancakes. Ugh, what is wrong with me today? Alya furrowed her eyebrows in frustration. You okay there, Alya? Marinette asked, patting her back. Yeah, she croaked, but I think I should go back home and sleep. Obviously, this is an off day for me. Okay. Marinette's lips drew into a sympathetic frown. Rest well. Hey, wait. Alya looked up at Nino as she was gathering her things, a bit surprised at him calling her out. I hope you know that I'm asking Marinette out because Adrien talks well of her. It's nothing personal, okay? He just doesn't know you, at all. You're so elegant with your choice of words, Alya sighed, walking over to put her tray away. A real charmer. Wait, no, that's not what I... Don't worry about it, Nino. Marinette cut in, a spokesperson for her friend. Alya's not mad. She's just giving you a hard time. Nino shut his mouth and put his head in his hands. It was obvious that he was embarrassed, so Alya went back to the table and grabbed his hat off his head. Rustling his hair, she winked at Marinette and walked out, leaving Adrien laughing and Nino confused. Nino began, running his fingers through his hair. I'm sorry? Marinette leaned in to hear better. Hat. Pardon? She took my hat, Nino said. She'll come back with it. Probably. She took my hat! Adrien! She took my hat! I'll text her, Adrien and Marinette said at the same time. Blushing at the timing, Marinette pulled out her phone to text her friend. So, Adrien said, breaking the silence. What happened? Well, long story short, I asked Marinette on a date. Nino glanced over at Marinette, who still hadn't given him an answer. Oh, Adrien said, surprised, and turned to Marinette. Did you say yes? Marinette began, collecting her things to go after Alya. No. Not yet, at least. She stood up in a hurry. Oh, Adrien frowned. But I'll let you know. Marinette looked up at Nino and nodded. But for now, I'm going to get that hat back. See you soon then, Adrien smiled. Don't take too long. Nino waved as Marinette opened the door. Bye, guys.
End of chapter. Keep listening for a sneak peek at next week's part. Chapter 9 Sneak Peek. Lunch together. Plagg gives Adrien some ladybug news. Adrien brings Chloe lunch and asks her a question about a ladybug project.